Hey guys, welcome to Lovely J Podcast. It's me, Miss Coco Bowden, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about sexual assault awareness. I touched on it in an earlier podcast, but I want to talk about it a little bit deeper than that, than what I had touched on before. So let me get my screenshot here. We do screenshots here. We don't care what y'all think about us. But let's pull up what sexual assault awareness actually is for those of you who don't understand, because some people just don't know. They really don't have a clue. But April is Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. What we try to do is make people aware of their surroundings, make them aware of what is sexual assault and what is not considered sexual assault. There are tons of resources out here on different sites that you can go and read on Google. And what's I saying here? We just want to be able to help each other, because this is a form of violence and it takes a lot away from a person. Do you know how it feels when you can't control what happens to your body? When everything on you now, somebody else takes ownership of in that moment of being sexually assaulted. Somebody else takes over and overpowers your control. Even when you say no, some people still do things. So if we can make enough women and young women and children aware, because I honestly think that you should start talking with your children as young as 2 years old. The moment your child can talk, you need to start talking with your children about what is a safe touch, what is a bad touch, because there are people out here who are just predators, and they are not only predators themselves, but they are also raising their children to be predators, because it's a normal thing for them. It's normal within their family. Incest is normal within their families. And sometimes we see a lot of sexual assaults within families covered up. Y'all know how the grandmas and grandpas used to do back in the day. They sweep it right under the rug. They wouldn't tell the truth about, what happened to them or what happened to their children and why their children are like they are now. Many people that are... I hate when that happens, when somebody calls me in the midst of me working. Y'all, hold up. I gotta get my flow back. Hold up. But many people who go through this type of violence, they end up in some of these group homes because they can't handle what happened to them. They end up on lots of medication, mental health medications, because they cannot handle what has happened to them. They cannot identify, what happens is when a person has been sexually assaulted, especially by a family member or somebody they know, say like a teacher or a preacher, maybe the grocery store owner, maybe a boss or someone that they feel comfortable and safe with. They didn't just get that feeling of safeness overnight. They were coerced into feeling safe with that person. And then all of a sudden, when that person sees their guard is down, they violate who they are and their dignity. They violate their body. They go in and they take advantage of a person's body, and that person loses their control. So the mind can't handle that. See, the mind knows what's wrong and what's right, but when it's coming from someone you love, someone you admire, someone you felt safe with, it's hard for the mind to handle that. The mind will break. It will break down. And this is when you see some of the women go psychotic. Some of the kids go psychotic or mute. They don't talk anymore. They mute it out from life. They don't even be around people anymore because of that fear of, if I get close to you, it's going to happen to me again. Everyone I get close to, they take advantage of me. They fail me. And in so many words, some of them can't say that, because they don't have any words to say, because it has taken advantage of them so badly, just brought them down. And let me see. So Sexual Assault Awareness Month is an opportunity to listen to and honor survivors in our community. It is a time to show those who have been impacted by sexual violence that they are not alone. It is also an opportunity to learn more about what sexual violence in digital age looks like, whether you share the domestic and sexual violence hotline number, or if you just tell your testimony of what's going on. So I'll give y'all my testimony, and I don't want anybody to just throw your testimony out there. I want you to know that once you give your testimony, there will be backlash. There will be people who mock and pick at you for what you've gone through, but don't worry about it, because the thing is, you went through it and you survived it. Okay. I was sexually assaulted several times over the course of my life, okay? And I would say it was a combination. Some were people I knew and some were people I did not know. I would say the worst was all of it. All of it. It took me years to realize that there was a healthy touch. I was 40-some years old before I realized there was a healthy touch. And before I could just let that sensory part of me go. Because my senses had been picked up from such a young age. I think the first time it happened to me, I was around 7 years old. And from then, I built up a wall from people. My senses built up. I didn't want people touching me. Didn't want people hugging me. Didn't want people saying anything to me. And so I would just kind of stay back. And that's why they always call me shy and bashful. I got called that a lot, but I had my reasons for being shy and bashful. It won't that I was shy, and it won't that, because internally I really am not shy. I will really get you told. I will really say what I need to say. You just not going to like it. So I'm not shy, but I learned how to stop speaking, and my voice got shut down because the assaults kept happening so frequently. And so I said, if I be quiet, maybe it'll stop happening. Well, that didn't help. It still happened. And I tell you, it's just, you feel powerless. I didn't have no power. I didn't have no help. Adults, I was sent to a psychiatrist instead of an investigator or detective. I was sent to a psychiatrist. And I don't know why. Ever since I've been young, they've always just tried to say that something was wrong with me mentally. But what it really was, I was just speaking up, telling the truth. And people don't like the truth. Evidently, people have a problem with truth, y'all. I'm serious. People have a problem with truth. The moment you start speaking the truth is the moment they start slandering your name. They start assaulting your character, bringing your character down. But anyways, it happened to me, and I always talk about, it's not hard to talk about, but I try to figure out how to say it without getting, knocked off the net, because if I say things the wrong way, I could, But I would say this one time what happened to me, we was in an area, and at this time I was 13 years old, and it was me and my sisters. We were together, and we were having fun. We didn't think about stuff like this. We're teenagers. We're just out there having fun. And so we began to walk home, and a group of boys, it was about 3 to 5 of those boys, maybe about 5 of them. These boys were they were horny and stuff. And we was like, oh no, we don't want y'all. We don't do that kind of thing. And so that's why we started going home, because we didn't want to take part in what they wanted us to take part in. However, that night, as we're walking, it's not night though, but it's right before night, when the street light comes on. My sisters are far ahead of me. They're far ahead of me. And so I'm like, kind of like walking slow because I was heavy set then too, So I'm walking slow and I'm like one of the last ones to cross the street. And they had already crossed the street. But what happened, as soon as I got ready to go behind them, I got grabbed. I got grabbed by all these guys. And I began to just scream. I remember just screaming to the top of my lungs. Help, help, help. Get off me, help, help. I just kept screaming, stop it, don't do this, stop. And in the midst of me screaming, it's like in slow motion. My shirt is snatched off. I have on a yellow shirt, light yellow shirt. I never forget it. I have on this light canary yellow shirt, and it had buttons going down the front. It's like I can hear them buttons popping off right now. When they grabbed me in the chest and pulled my shirt apart, and one guy was holding my arms as I was trying to fight him off. Another guy had my boobs. Another guy had the bottom part. Two guys were taking my pants off. So I just continued to scream. And one guy started running. He said, I'm not down with this. Basically he was like, I'm out of here. I didn't sign up for this. He left. But the other three guys that stayed, what they did was, I fought so much trying to get away from them until I just had, I didn't have any more physical strength. I didn't have any physical strength. I was fighting so hard in the beginning when I first got grabbed that, when my body wore out, it wore out, and these guys were holding me too. One would hold the legs up along with the one who was doing the penetrating, and then the other would hold my arms down and back, and I just kept screaming, and they were just like circulating with that. And I screamed so loud, a man finally comes out the house, and he shoots a gun over our head. He comes out his back door, because that's where it happened. At his back door. He comes out his back door and he shoots the gun because he heard me screaming. And when they heard the shots, they took off running. And then I was finally able to get up and try to grab myself together. My clothes were ripped. Y'all know what? That was my favorite pair of pants and my favorite top that I used to love to wear. And it was no more good. It was ripped to pieces. I remember my white socks. I used to wear those, back in the day, real popular socks that you kind of squunch down. I used to wear those, and they were so dirty. I left a shoe back. One of my shoes is back there. Any jewelry I had on, left it. I just got myself up. My sisters were gone. I didn't catch up with them till... I still try to put it in my head why nobody came for me and helped me, because I was screaming to the top of my lungs. And I had to just let it go, because they were kids too, And I try to teach my granddaughters, make sure you take care of yourself, because not everybody is going to, help you if you get into trouble. I didn't have no help. Even though they was around, they were hiding behind the trees. They were scared because they didn't want to get grabbed. So they hid behind these pine trees. And thank God for the pine trees hiding them, because if they wouldn't have hid, it would have happened to them. But I had to take all that. Everything that was given to me. I had to take all of that and some, and I remember my back. When my back hit the cement, because they threw me on cement, that's probably why, to be honest, that's probably why I got back trouble now. Come to think about it, because after then it was like I just always had to sit down because I was tore up, y'all. You hear me? My body was tore up. And my skin. I was a virgin. My stuff was tore up. You hear me? They left me stretched, torn, down in that area, bleeding. I got home. I couldn't make it no further than the living room. From that moment on, I stopped sleeping in the bedrooms, and I just started sleeping in living rooms. I stopped taking full showers and baths, and I started taking wash-offs. And it got so bad that my mom was like, no, you need to take a shower. And so I was so terrified that somebody would come and do it again. I would take a shower with my bra on, with my drawers on. When I tell y'all that I would not, taking a bath was like, it was like leaving my full clothes on and washing like that. And then I would be scared to take my bra off. Like I just leave my bra on. I didn't start taking my bra off till I was maybe 37 years old. I didn't realize how much of that night affected how I lived my life. So I'm telling y'all this because there may be women out there that have gone through the same thing, and that type of rape is called a gang rape. That have gone through the same thing. Now, I have been sexually assaulted even more since then, and I can tell you, I did not have the courage to speak up. I am not kidding. I could not speak up. When my grandma lived in that area, and my grandma called up to my dad's house, my biological dad's house, and she said, one of your girls got raped last night. Now, which one was it? And is they doing all right? What can we do for them? And so when they asked us who got raped last night, I told my sister, and I said, y'all better not say nothing. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't tell nobody. I denied it, and we never spoke of it again. It probably came up twice in 20, 30 years. It was never spoken of again. If it was spoken about, it wasn't around me. Now, I did have the opportunity one night to see one of the guys who had did it. And that night, I wanted to unalive him. And I told him, I said, do you know what I could really do to you right now? And at this time, y'all, I'm not afraid to use a gun or anything. I'm still not afraid to use a gun. I just know I'll use it. That's why I don't want one. But I said, do you know what I could do to you right now for what you done to me? You ruined my life with that. And he did. He ruined my life. I went so many years not getting close to family members. To this day, it's still hard for me to get close to people. Like, if I trust you, I trust you. If I pick up something about you, a discernment about you, I pick it up. And I ain't letting it go until God says otherwise. I'm going to believe just who you show me to be. And I won't trust you. But if you got my trust, you got my trust. That's how it affected my life. Only man I trusted like that from then on was my daddy Marshall. I just try to stay up under him because, a girl wanted that protection. I'd stay up under him because I knew he'd shoot. I know he'd cut. I know he didn't mind doing what he got to do to protect his family. He'll do it. And so that's why I stayed up under my daddy like I did. And I think he knew something was wrong with me because he also protected me like he knew something was wrong. So I think somebody may have told him what happened and he just never said anything about it. Because after then, when I look back over it now, my dad got extra protective. I mean, he was extra protective. He didn't even want me dating after that happened. After that happened to me, he didn't want me dating and stuff. And he would escort us girls to work because he knew what was out there. My dad was protective like that. Like, he cared. He cared. There's no man out there that has cared for me like my daddy did back in those days. And I thank my daddy for that, because it made me a stronger woman today, to look within myself. And he always taught me to look within myself and handle myself first before I go after others. And so that's what I do to this day. And those are some of the words that actually helped me get through those trying times. Now, do it still bother me to this day? I'm a survivor. I was a victim, but I graduated to being a survivor. Am I just surviving? I'm living. I'm a living witness. One thing I had to learn to do was overcome my body. Overcome how I felt about my body. I hated my body for a long time. I couldn't look at my body, didn't look at myself in the mirror. Hated going to the mirror. Didn't want to walk past a mirror, because all I could see was what those guys had did to me. All I could feel every day, every night, was what those guys had did to me. And I still had some of the, I have some lingering stuff going on, but I'm working through it. But I can say I'm living my life. Now I will go take a shower. I pull off my clothes like I'm supposed to. I do all of that. Despite what I'm going through, I still do it all now. I don't let it hold me back like it used to. It still hurts me when I think about it, and these were not older boys that did it, by the way. These guys were like, one was my age because they was in my class. No, two of them was my age because they was in my class. And the other ones were a little bit older. They were more like 18. No, they're more like, if I was 13, they was like, it was like 3 13-year-olds, 14 and 17, and an 18-year-old, I think, were the ages at that time. And I mean, they was not older like you would think. So you got to watch your kids around these young teenagers. These teenagers are raping people and raping girls their own age. And these young girls think that, it's just, these young girls are probably thinking in their mind that this is how they showing me that they love me. But it's not. That junk hurt it. It hurt it. It hurt it mentally and physically. It affected how I went to church, all that. I stopped going to church. I was ashamed. It had all this guilt over me. Well, maybe if you wouldn't have been down there, if you would listen to your mom and daddy hadn't went down there, it wouldn't have happened to you. No, all those thoughts were coming to my head. If you had, if you would have just walked a little faster to keep up with your sisters, if you wouldn't have been so fat, then you could have kept up with your sisters. It was all kind of things going through my head at that time. And it just kept going through my head until I got around people who helped me to know better. So everybody that has came into my life and went out of my life, even though some of the things were bad, I would say it was with purpose. God turned it into purpose. And I learned something from each and every person in my life. Whether it was good or bad, I learned something from each person. And today, I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate for women that are just like me, that are going through the same things that I have went through. It may not happen the same way, but if you went through it, I want to tell you that you can survive it mentally. You can overcome it. I'm not telling you to forget that it happened. I'm telling you to live beyond it, because we cannot let the devil destroy us just because, they do things to our bodies. Yes, we don't like that, and it makes us feel bad about ourselves, but we must find our confidence in God. We must seek God and His grace. He loves us when nobody else loves us, and when we feel like there's no love for us, we must turn to God and His face only. We must turn our heads to the wall, get up out of the world. You hear me? There's been times I had to stand in a corner in my home and just pray to the corner. There's been times I walked in my front door and the world was so overwhelming. Life was so overwhelming. I had to put myself in time out. I had to get up on the wall and just start praying. As soon as I walk in the door, just turn on in the hallway, get in the hallway and begin to pray, because things were too heavy. Life was too heavy. We cannot always stop what happens to us, but we can stop how we respond to it. We can get the right help we need. I know y'all hear them birds in the background, but yeah, we can get the right help that we need. All right, y'all, so that was my testimony. And I can tell you, I did not sit back and cry about what happened to me, to the point where I couldn't do life. I don't know how it happened, but somehow I threw it in the back of me, and I didn't think no more about it. And I think sometimes that's how God deals with us. When he knows we can't handle something, he'll wait till we mature enough to handle it. So don't let nobody force you into dealing with a situation that you're not ready to deal with either. Because that was something, sometimes I would get smirked at and laughed at about what happened to me. Because it was a lot of people who knew what happened to me. It was a whole community of people who knew what happened to me. And I still had to live and walk beyond that. Don't let it stop you from being who you want to be. You can still be that person that you set out to be before it happened. And now you're going to be even more mature and wiser and cautious about who you let in your life. All right, y'all, I got to go because the sister's hungry now. And that's all I can give you on that. I mean, that's all I feel comfortable with right now. And I don't know. Let's just keep making each other aware of these type of situations. And I'll probably do some more talking about this on my other podcast called Kiva Advancement Empowerment Podcast. We can talk a little deeper into it because I know women need some type of support. Men need support. We need to know what to do when this happens to us. And so I will talk with y'all more about it on Kiva Advancement Empowerment Podcast this Wednesday. We start our new spring episode. So don't miss, tune in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to heart me here on Spreaker. If you are on the Spreaker app, give me a heart. That helps my content to get out to other people who may not know. They just might not know what to do in situations like this. Okay, so peace, love, and happiness. I don't want to hang up. Hang up.